Hello, welcome for this new video on the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra. Today we shall start to see another series of practices from the Vijnana Bhairava Tantra about the world. So let us start with the verse 52, the Sanskrit. Om kālāgninā kālapadād utthitena svakam puram pluṣṭam vicintayed ante śāntābhāsas tadā bhavet. So, vicintayed, one should, she should visualize or evoke or even feel svakam puram. One should feel one's own city, literally, but it means the body here. That is being pluṣṭam, that is being burnt, consumed. Kālāgninā, by the fire of time. So the fire of time means the fire that comes at the end of times, that is going to destroy the whole universe at the end of one cosmic cycle. But in fact, that fire is going to destroy only one cosmic sphere, one cosmic system, one world, anda, brahmanda, one egg of Brahma, literally. And also it's very important to notice that this fire of time is time, first, and that therefore it is always burning. It is always cooking the egg of Brahma, and that fire is naturally situated at the base of the cosmic egg. Okay, each world of Brahma, because there are many other worlds, and those worlds of Brahma, they are probably infinite number. They are like floating in the space of consciousness, and each of those eggs, each of those spheres made of gold is like a huge oven, and at its base there is a fire called the Vāirava fire, the fire which is always burning below the ocean and which is slowly evaporating, boiling the oceans, so that in the end everything will become dry, like a huge desert, and everything will burn because that fire will become stronger and stronger. And the things, the stages, because that sphere is filled with many stages, and the stages below will start to burn first, and so the smoke of them will come upward and will suffocate the stages above, and among them there is the biggest, the largest middle ground, which is the earth proper, or the level at which what we call the earth is situated. And above there are the heavenly stages, and below the hells, different types of hells. So it's all burning. And that's the fire of time, because time itself is seen as a huge fire, and it's burning up everything and all beings within it. And that fire of time is also the fire of digestion. Everything is cooked by the fire of time, which is also, according to some schools which are more oriented towards renunciation, which is also the fire of desire, the digestive fire in the human body, and the sexual fire, which is burning up, sucking away the liquids of life, and especially the seminal liquids and all other liquids. So it's like the sun burning slowly the moon and emptying it of her of her nectar, of her white luminous nectar, which is the source of rains and freshness, etc. So all that which holds true at the cosmic level is also true at the individual level. Macrocosm, samashtipinda, and individual level, vyashtipinda, they are all similar. And so in the human body, there is also that fire of time going on burning at the root of the body, that is at the level of the more or less the so-called Muladhara, the root chakra, where there is the lying, the sleeping energy of life, kundalini, which is like a fire burning, and it's slowly burning up, burning away, consuming the body, making it dry, so that age, becoming old, is seen as a way of becoming more and more dried up. And so the moon, all that is liquid and fresh in the body, is slowly burned by that fire. And so that's the fire of time, burning all beings. And that's why, because that process, that burning away, ends in death, that's why time is also called, also means death. Kālaha means both time and death. Ante means at the end of time, and also it means at the time of death. So here we are supposed to visualize that our body is also a cosmic sphere, a world, a Brahmanda. And sometimes that word that expression is applied to the human body. And but that fire does not start from the root chakra, the Muladhara. Here it starts from kālapadād. It starts from the right, from the big toe of the right foot, if my memory is correct. And it arises from there like a fire, and it consumes the whole body. So it's like visualizing a kind of fiery light that starts from the right toe, the big toe of the right foot, and slowly it rises, it spreads like a fire of light, and it consumes the whole body. Ante, at the end of that process, the whole body is consumed, and śāntābhāsas tadā bhavet. Then one shall become someone whose appearance is peaceful, literally. But shanta means also quiet. It means also one whose fever is quenched. No more fever, like nirvana. Like nirvana means fever extinguished. And it means it's an image of a fire that has been extinguished once all the fuel has been consumed. There is nothing more to burn, and only ashes are left. And ashes are often a symbol of pure being, Shanta Brahma, pure being, the absolute, once all activities, all movements are gone. Once all movements are gone. And so it means also to be healed. You know, in Tantricism, there are many magic rituals, and they have four main aims, and one of those four is Shanti. And here Shanti means healing, both mental and physical, and to be healed from fever, especially from the fire of fever. So when the fire has consumed everything, I suppose there is no more fever. It's like an extinguished fire, like like a nirvana, an extinction of fire, and therefore of fever. So time comes to its own end by itself. So it's the evil is bringing the end of evil, and it's also, I think, an expression of the tantric rule that evil is destroyed by evil in a kind of homeopathic principle. Evil is healed by evil. So that's for the first, that verse 52, and the commentary gives us a mantra for that. Om Raksharaya Tanum Dahayami Namaha. I burn the body with that mantra Raksharaya I suppose that those different syllables correspond to different places in the body, different stages of the burning of the body. And it looks like a kind of pinda mantra, you know, a mantra with many consonants, one after the other, several consonants, one after the other. So it begins with Dakshinapada Angushtat, so with the big toe of the right foot. Kālāgninā, so this is the fire of the end of time. Utthitena dhyātvā, tat jvalaya shariram bhashmibhutam bhavayet. One should visualize that the body becomes ashes because of those flames. So one's body is like gugulam. I think gugulam is a kind of, how do you say, a substance coming from a plant that is especially fiery and used to start fire, like petrol. Eshopi arnavobhāyaha. So this is the classification of the different verses according to the three means explained at length by Abhinavagupta in the Tantra Loka. But I don't think this is very this is very meaningful here. Anyway, next verse 53. Om evam jagat sarvaṃ dagdhaṃ dhyātvā vikalpataḥ ananyacetasaḥ puṃsaḥ pumbhāvaḥ paramo bhavet. In that very same way, evam jagat sarvaṃ, the whole world, dagdhaṃ, burnt, dhyātvā, one should first visualize, one should first contemplate the whole world, not one's body, but here the whole world burnt, vikalpataḥ. So here, of course, vikalpataḥ, the commentator, does not explain. By way of discursive thought, but I think that here it might mean part by part, vikalpataḥ. Or it can be also avikalpataḥ, without choosing, without anything left. Avikalpataḥ. And it would mean with an undivided attention, and also it would mean that fire does not leave anything aside. It invades and it eats everything. Avikalpataḥ. Dhyātvā avikalpatah. Ananyacetasaḥ puṃsaḥ, for the man, for the individual. Never know how to translate that properly. For the man whose attention is not on anything else, so whose attention is completely focused on that spreading fire, eating the whole world, bhavet, it will happen, paramo, the supreme pumbhāvaḥ, the supreme state of man, the supreme state of the individual. And I suppose here it's alluding to the purusha 25th tattva, the 25th level, the supreme level of being according to the Sankhya, which is not the supreme level of being in Shaivism. But here it's taken like that. Why not? And of course the commentator, he glosses pumbhāvaḥ, aparimita pramatri Bhairava, which has nothing to do with Sankhya. Here it's the state, the divine state, the absolute state of the supreme knowing subject, which is not limited, which is not objective, that is, which is the opposite of jara, which is not something here which is necessarily delimited in time, space, and configuration, shape, but it's without limits. And the second commentator, the earliest one, Ananda, glosses vikalpataḥ by, yes, it's probably avikalpatah, because he says nirvikalpacetasaḥ. So for one whose attention, or whose mind, if you will, is undivided. So here's the same practice as the previous, the practice of the previous verse, the verse 51. But in the verse 51, it was visualizing the burning of one's body. And here in the verse 52, and here in the verse 53 is the visualization of the burning of the whole world. So one's body and the whole world. That's the difference between verses 52 and 53. Otherwise, it's the same. It's a practice of visualizing, feeling everything being burned. And 54, Om svadehe jagato vāpi sūkṣmasūkṣmatarāṇi tattvāni yāni nilayaṃ dhyātvā ante vyajate para. So one should visualize dhyātvā, one should contemplate, one should visualize tattvāni yāni nilayaṃ, all the levels of beings going into dissolution, that is the inferior levels dissolve away in the higher ones, which is dissolve away in the higher ones, sūkṣmasūkṣmatarāṇi, into more and more subtle levels, both svadehe in one's body, jagato vāpi, or in the world as well. So that ante, at the end of that process of dissolving away, viajate para, the supreme state of consciousness, full consciousness, and it has been defined, you will remember, at the beginning of the Tantra. Viajate manifests clearly, because it's always manifesting again, but here it manifests clearly, Vijnana, jayate. So here we have an option, it seems, tadā, says the commentator. One can visualize the field of one's own body or the world, or the whole world, dissolving into more and more subtle levels of reality. So here it alludes to a theory, which is a tool common to all schools, all traditions of Shaivism, the 36 levels of being, tattvas, 36 tattvas, tattvāni. So those levels, I will not enter into details here, because I don't think it would be useful to anyone looking at those videos, but if anyone is interested, she shall find very easily those informations, those details on the internet or in books or anywhere else. They are just 36 levels, and from the most subtle one, Shiva, to the grossest one, the earth, Prithvi Tattva. The spread out one, Prithvi, the one who is Prithu, spread, flat, Prithu, which would be akin to the French plat, platitude. Well, so today we had practices which deal more with visualization. You see, all sorts of practices here, and practices that are found more often in tantric traditions and in tantric rituals, practices of self-dissolution, self-burning, self-transformation, visualization of one's body, of one's environment. Those practices are found more often in tantric rituals, but here they are simplified. They go straight to the main point of those often long and very complicated ritual practices. So that's all for today, and I wish you a very good day and see you next time.